Hey guys, it's Mike, and this is Not Your Mother's Day Fantasy League podcast. As always, I'm joined by Dave and Jason. How we doing, guys?
Doing
Doing
good.
good. How you doing, Mike?
Pretty good. We've got some wild football matchups to get into, but before we get into those, we got some even wilder trades to get into, don't we?
We had 4 trades and a taxi claim that went on this week, and I'll highlight a couple of those before we get going. Look at that. You pulled them already up.
Yeah.
Dolphins and Ravens swapping quarterbacks. Dolphins picking up Minshew and the Jags offense, and the Ravens getting Kyle Trask and the Washington offense. So swapping up some quarterbacks and some offenses to go there.
Just
Another trade. Go
my
ahead.
2 cents, just real quick. I don't understand giving up a quarterback who plays for a quarterback that doesn't play, and probably won't, barring injury. But hey, that's just my 2 cents.
It's a Bristol Main Street trade, so just a couple buildings and a parking lot between them. Something went down. I don't know what it is. So the other trade, we had another trade between the Texans and the Bengals. The Texans picking up a running back Miles Sanders and a 2024 fifth-round pick, and Nick and his Bengals picking up a wide receiver Marquise Brown. And another one with the Ravens, the Bills picking up T.J. Hawkinson, tight end, and just paid a second-round pick, a 2024 second-round pick to Gavin and his Ravens. And then we got another trade with Jason here. Jason's involved. Jason's given up to the Dolphins, David Levante, and in return, he's getting running back Jaleel McLaughlin and linebacker Anthony Walker. Jason, you got any 2 cents on that?
Jaleel's the future in Denver. Watching him play this year and Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams really hesitant to hit the holes, which I understand just because of him coming off of an ACL tear. I feel like that's going to bump him down going into next year, and so I feel like Jaleel's definitely the future there as long as he can stay healthy and continue playing at the rate he's playing at. So I figured I've been wanting him. So
then the other trade we got going on was a taxi claim, and this one got a little bit of controversy of what Justin Fields is really worth. Nick and his Bengals picked up Justin Fields from the Texans for a 2025 seventh-round pick. And the debate this week was whether he was worth a seventh-round pick or a ninth-round pick or whatever the deal was. But anyways, Nick now has both Bear quarterbacks on his roster, and Josh and the Texans have got another seventh-round pick.
I've been very outspoken of my criticisms of the Bears and Justin Fields, partly because of the outspoken criticism of my Colts. However, I would argue that Justin Fields is absolutely worth a 2025 seventh-round pick. That's kind of a steal.
I would have paid that.
So. Yeah, I mean, that's really cheap. So yeah, interesting trades that might shake things up a little bit. Nick bringing back his old flame there a little bit too cheap. That's the true takeaway, is that Nick got somebody too cheap. So
just a disclaimer before we put it out there: Thursday night, 7:00 is trade deadline. So any more trades that are going to happen for a playoff run need to be done in about the next 3 or 4 days.
This is true. All right, so on to these Week 9 matchups we go. As you know, my computer always starts with my matchup. Nothing to see here. As soon as I traded away Lamar, I looked at the Niners bye week. I saw it was Week 9, and I wrote the week off. This is kind of what I expected. Tyler Heineke showed up. That's about all I can say. Braxton's going to run away with this one.
So as we start to unwind this, I'll just rattle off here the AFC East. They're showing their dominance again. They're going to go 4-0 against the West this week. So it is the dominant division this week, this year so far. And we'll tip their hat to them on this, but we'll break down the games here. So, yes, Braxton's currently up by 68 points, and he's got you guys both have one to play.
Yeah, I got Parham tonight because I had to use a tight end. I didn't have to, but I didn't have a viable flex. Debo and Judy were on a bye. So there you go. Donald Parham making my last start there.
Well, Braxton currently has the number 1 seed in the playoff race right now, and he's going to hold that position at least for another week so far, going into week 10 next week.
Yeah, 45 at a DAC. That'll get it done.
That's unreal.
20 out of 2 different safeties, 32 out of TJ Edwards. He had a good week.
Very good week. And he had quite a few points in the wide receiver. He left on the bench too, starting Aguilar for some reason over, OBJ or I wouldn't start Paris Campbell over Aguilar maybe, but definitely OBJ over Aguilar. So, a lot of questions, but still, he's winning. So who am I to judge, I guess?
Okay, we'll move on to Nick versus Eric here. Looks like too large of a hill to climb, even with 3 left.
Well, we looked at this game last week, and we really expected a much better game than what this is. The Jags Jags are 8-2. Nick's sitting 7-3. Jags came in with only a 7-point favorite, so we expected a close game, but that's not how it ended up. Nick's currently got a 91-point lead. Nick's out of players. The Jags still have 3 players left. I'm guessing Garrett Wilson, probably Bosa or Johnson and somebody else. Don't know if he can overcome 91 points with those 3 unless somebody just does something stupid, ridiculous, which I'd be rooting for, by the way.
We all would be,
Yep.
And of course, the new hotness, Sam Howell dropping 29 in a winning effort. All right, on to the next one here. Josh has got a shot to pick up his first W, doesn't he?
Josh has got a shot. Dan's playing down to his competition right now. Dan's out of players left, so he's final. The Texans and Josh, he's got 2 players left. One of them is Khalil Mack. Mack is capable for going off for 28 points if he has to, if he could. So it's within reach. I'll give Josh a shot at it tonight.
I'll give him a better than a 1%, honestly.
Yep, I'd give him more than a 1% also.
Who was the other one we thought he might have going?
I wasn't going to bring it up. He's missing a quarterback.
Oh, that's right. Speaking of missing quarterbacks, the Vikings backup went down on the very first series, and Dan lucked into the Josh Dobbs show.
Yes, he did. Dobbs looked pretty good yesterday for never even practicing with the team. I'm sure he's still learning the players' names, let alone bringing them back from a 2-minute comeback win. So,
yeah,
good play there, Dan, playing a backup quarterback.
Josh Dobbs did look night and day different from Arizona. I guess that's what happens when you have good players on your team.
Yeah, they got playmakers on that Vikings team.
That was even without Justin Jefferson too. So,
Okay, moving to the battle of the podcast hosts here. Is Dave going to put out the bleeding? Stop the fire?
Hey, a pair of 3-7 teams. I don't know about you, Jason, but I feel like I'm way more desperate for a win than what you are.
I don't mind losing, obviously, at this point, but I wouldn't mind winning. Down 27. You have 3. I have 3. My 3 are substantially better than your 3, though. I feel like
we'll see about that.
Especially going into tonight, you've got Zach Wilson playing against the worst pass defense in the league. Maybe he puts up big numbers. I'm hoping, at least. So we'll see.
Well, I for what it's worth, I have the Chargers offense. I have a defensive end, Tuli Tulioppo left, and a safety, Derwin James. So I'm expecting a pick 6 from Zach because I know that Zach likes to throw those interceptions. So
hopefully not to Derwin James, though.
I think the Jets are winning in spite of Zach Wilson, not necessarily because of Zach Wilson.
Hey, if he has a good game, I just want one good game out of him.
Right?
The one thing that scares me about playing the Chargers offense, it's 1 point or a negative 1 point for the offense every time we give up a sack, and the Jets have the defense that could probably put up 5 or 6, 7 sacks tonight. That one scares me.
That's
Fingers
valid.
crossed there.
That's valid. I saw it was my offense. I went ahead and made the genius decision of starting Seattle in Baltimore. That netted in minus 3.2 points.
That hurts.
Yeah, that one stings a bit. So yeah, minus 4 points for 4 sacks against. Ugh. All right, moving on here. We've got some intrigue here with the Ravens up against the Titans.
Well, this one came in. Dustin came in as a 77-point favorite. I don't think he's going to cover that one, but Gavin definitely gave him a scare. Dustin's up by 3 points, but he's got 3 to play, including Breece Hall. I think that's probably enough to do it right there. Gavin's got 2 to play. Henley, a linebacker, and his other linebacker, Quincy Williams. And I just don't think that those two overcome.
Oh, he had Kenny Moore on the bench. Oh, Gavin, poor Gavin.
Oh no.
Oh, one of the highest points we've seen out of a corner this year.
No.
Oh, 40. Yikes.
Yeah, 49.25 points.
2 pick sixes.
Oh,
who did he start instead?
He started Jeff Okudah and Patrick Peterson. So not horrible. But
I think he's paying Kenny Moore more than both of those combined.
Well, I got to believe Kenny Moore's scored more points than what those two have.
I would think so. Kenny Moore's having a pretty decent season,
He's
especially after
really
yesterday.
Yeah, he's having.
I do want to just remind it because I got to get this dig in. But Kenny Moore, let's remember where he came from. He was with the Raiders. He was part of that $78 million salary cap hit over there. Obviously, he's no value in Las Vegas, and
No.
Gavin has found value even though he's sitting on the bench. So
Okay, so for you, Dave, I'm looking it up. Kenny Moore has scored 120 more points than who is this guy that I just clicked on?
You've got Jeff Okudah.
No, it wasn't Okudah.
Patrick Peterson.
Patrick Peterson, yeah. Patrick Peterson. He scored 120 more points than Patrick Peterson and also 120 more points this season than Jeff Okudah. So definitely needs to start Kenny Moore week to week at this point.
Well, I tell you what, if he starts on that is a big win for Gavin if he would have played that. So taking down the defending champ. So
and just to appease my mind here, Kenny is getting paid almost double what those guys are getting paid combined.
But he's also scored twice as many points too. So Kenny's the guy.
Yeah,
he's the guy. Start your studs. Okay, moving on. Here's part of that AFC East going undefeated this week.
Oh, this is a battle of the Hargroves here. And my question last week was Jeremy was a 119-point favorite, whether he was going to be able to cover that or not.
Ooh.
The Raiders have got 1 left to play. Bills have got 3 left to play. He's up by 66 points. Obviously, Jeremy's going to win this game. I don't know if he'll have enough to get to the 119-point lead, but whatever it is, I'm sure Aaron's going to hear about it from brother.
He's got Keenan Allen, I think. So he can put up some points. Looks like he probably either has a DT or a linebacker. So yeah, he's still got high point scorers left. And he's got, if I remember correctly, he's missing his offense. So yeah. Is he going to cover? He might. He might just cover.
Regardless, Bills are going to go to 5-6 this week. So here's a battle of a pair of 5-5 teams. Both teams come in at 5-5. Rich was a 62-point favorite. It's probably going to cover it. He's up by 57 right now, and he's got one to play. Jared's out of players, so he's done.
It looks like Rich is going to have a flex as well. So potentially high point scorer. So, yeah, just going to extend that lead.
Well, I saw that he started Josh Allen instead of Minshew. That was a shocker. You trade for Minshew and you leave him on the bench.
Yeah.
Rich,
Had he done the opposite, I would have thrown him under the bus. I'm just throwing it out there.
Rich does have Keenan Allen playing tonight. He's the one that has Keenan Allen playing.
Well, if he gets 6 points, 6 points, and he covers the spread.
And then the last one here, maybe a bit of a shocker.
Very much a shocker.
Upset City.
Sean came in as a 44-point favorite in this one, and he is trailing by 110. Even though he's got 2 players left and Joey's got 1, this one's not turning around.
Herbert's one of them. I'm not sure exactly who his other one's going to be, but probably not enough.
Nope.
Yeah, for sure not enough here.
So again, tip the cap to the AFC East again for going 4-0 and showing their dominance again.
So just for fun, I've been doing this the last couple weeks just to see who the highest point scorers were. But man, how about that game from CJ Stroud yesterday? Holy cow.
5 touchdowns.
470 yards, I think, right? That's how many yards he had? Absolutely.
470, I thought it was.
Yeah, absolutely stellar.
470.
I caught a little bit of it with Tank Dell grabbing 2 of those touchdowns.
Kind of wish he didn't do that, but no, I feel I'm very happy for them both. He's very proven to be the steal of the draft, even though he did go second overall to the Texans. I mean, the Panthers easily could have taken him, and
well, Jeremy's pretty much played him all year. I'm pretty sure he's rode him well all year. I think he has played Stroud pretty much all year.
Kenny Moore there at number 2.
He didn't play him the first 2 weeks, but he's been playing him ever since. And
yeah,
and Stroud has been solid as a QB.
He has. Kenny Moore at number 2, riding Pine.
So, second round pick, 201.
Yeah. And
there's Kenny Moore.
I wasn't convinced I needed to take a quarterback. There you go. High scores this week. Tank Dell got a good benefit out of that game. He had a nice little game. So there you go. High scores. Nick finally getting a little bit out of Rashad White.
It was about time he played well. I have him in a few other fantasy leagues, and it's been pretty disappointing this year.
Yeah, I felt like he was a good upside running back this year alongside Alexander Madison, and both of them have kind of been
horrible. Absolutely horrible.
Yeah. So there you go. Oh, wait, I got to pull up next week's schedule, don't I? See what we're looking at here.
Look at those spreads.
Let's go over to week number 10 here. And whoops, didn't mean to do that. Where's my other layout? Not that one. Okay, there it is. My bad. All right. So our matchups for next week, I am a favorite against the Patriots. I'll get all my 49ers back, so that'll be nice.
Yeah, as long as Stroud doesn't you're playing against Stroud, right, that week? No, it's the Bills. Never mind.
Well, okay, we got the best team in the league with Braxton against one of the worst teams in the league against Aaron and his Raiders as 102 point. Aaron's a 102-point dog. So the question is, does Braxton cover that or not?
I think he at least covers the dead cap space.
He covers the $78 million.
He covers the $78 million.
So,
I'm screenshotting it again. That's the question every week. Will he cover his cap number? How about Rich coming out as a 14-point favorite against Sean?
Like again, the AFC East has got it. I mean, so I think Rich can put up a good game. I don't know who the buys are for him next week, either one of them, but it'll be interesting to see.
That is a factor for sure. Jeremy with a huge spread over Jared here. My goodness, 123 is that our highest one so far?
Yep,
it might
Wow.
be.
Wow. Jags 53-point favorite over the Ravens. And Dave needs to win the battle of the co-hosts so that if he goes up against the defending champ here, he's not still scratching for that W.
Well, keep in mind that we got trade deadline coming up, so if we get a rash of trades this week, rosters are going to change over a little bit, which may end up changing some of these spreads.
That's true. Maybe somebody else will trade a quarterback for a quarterback that doesn't play.
I just got to figure a way to get Trey Lance back over to Nick so he can have all of his Bears and Trey Lance back again.
Well, what you got to do is take Badgen off his taxi squad, and then make him spend a pick to get him back.
Yep.
Dan is a favorite against Jason, and Nick a heavy favorite against Josh.
That's not a surprise there. But I'll be rooting for you, Josh, just like everybody else outside of Cincinnati.
I think especially if Dan loses this week, he's on a little bit of a losing streak going into that matchup next week versus Jason.
He plays. He's just like Notre Dame. He plays down to his opponent's level every week. So, really good sneak in there for me to possibly win.
So, you had already talked about it. I was also curiously going to look at these sort of streaks. Yeah, Braxton about to get his 9th in a row. Definitely the hottest team right now. Who else we got? We got any other big streaks going on?
Well, Josh with 10 on the losing streak, and after opening up the Steelers, the season 3-0, they've now gone 3-7, so they're riding a 7-game losing streak. Total crap.
Well, if you'd like to move some of those players for pick, Dave, don't do so within the division.
I had that opportunity this week, and I just can't bring myself to trading with Nick. So I don't know how that helps me or not, but obviously, if we lose, we're going to be in full fire sale mode. Even if we win, we're probably going to be. I don't know. We got to do something. Just got a team. Maybe I have second half players. They're not performing.
Right.
Freaking Pollard hasn't had a touchdown since week 1. He had 2 in week 1. He has not scored a touchdown in the last 8 weeks.
That's crazy.
And then freaking Bijan Robinson's lucky if he gets 15 carries in a game.
Yeah, that situation has gotten a little weird lately. So I mean, I know you said you might go into tank mode. You're not going to go into 75 dead cat face.
I don't have that much. I hate to say it, I don't have that bad salaries to go. I'd have a hard time coming up with $78 million.
You would have to drop most of your roster.
Yes, most of my roster. And then try to pick them back up on free agency the following week.
And then drop them again.
In the waiver
He's already hoping that the Colts make Shaq a cap casualty so he can get out of that one. So
that was confidential, Mike.
Oh, my bad.
The Colts do have a player option, and they will probably drop him at the end of the year. So I'll get out of that second year.
I cannot wait for him to be as far away from Indy as possible.
So
absolutely, he went from potentially one of the best linebackers in the league to absolute worst dog water.
Well, a couple back surgeries and a couple concussions will do that to you.
Yep.
Can't be throwing your body around, taking people out.
Oh, sad times.
Either that or he needs to change his name back.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Only Darius has the chip on his shoulder.
That's right.
All right, guys. Well, we're nearing on 8 o'clock, which is usually when we wrap this thing up. Anything you guys want to add for tonight's show?
Just hoping that Zach Wilson's got COVID tonight and he can't go.
Yeah, and I'm hoping the Chargers get sacked 30 times tonight.
Maybe Zach Wilson will get distracted by some MILFs in the front row. You never know.
Is Herbert's mom going to be in attendance? Because he will play out of his mind if she's there.
He'll be playing something besides football.
All right. Well, it's quickly going to turn into a broadcast by WGN where the cameraman is scouring for the attractive-looking women in the crowd.
Kiss cam.
The Zach Wilson distractometer. All right, guys. It was fun as always. Thanks everybody that tuned in. I don't think anybody did this night, but that's fine. You guys can watch it later, and you can give us a hard time then.
You can bash us tomorrow about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. It was a blast. We will see you all next time for the podcast. I was Mike. We'll see you next Monday.
See you guys.